Welcome back to the weekly news roundup. In this segment, we're talking about AI is not actually helping all that much. Several cases about it. Of course, AI is being foisted upon everybody. Did I get that right word? I think I said hoisted before. Foisted. I think foisted is the correct word. Anyway, let me know in the comments. I hear it all the time. I mentioned the word, is it Latvia instead of Latvia in the last video? And all hell, bro. Like, all sorts of crazy people went nuts in the comment. Guys, it's a crappy country that I've never heard of outside of the fact that OnlyOffice went there so they didn't be accused of Russians, okay? I don't care. My apologies if you're from there. It's like half of my comments, you can't even pronounce these countries. I never heard of your country before OnlyOffice said this is where we're from. Jeez. And by the way, I did have a decent education, including one course away from a minor in geography. I did worlds and physicals and populations and all sorts of geography courses. But to be fair, these days, if it's not in the continental United States, I might be clueless. But anyway, that was a long way to get around to say, yeah, people don't like AI. And there's good reasons for it. The first one is a case plaguing Pizza Hut. I love this picture here. We got some AI-generated robot dropping a pizza in front of Pizza Hut. I did actually go to a Pizza Hut the other day. There was one at a little plaza, a new Pizza Hut in a little plaza in State College there. And I was like, it's one of those days where I would needed just a little bit of food, but not a whole lot. And I was surprised. You can still get a personal pan pizza from Pizza Hut for $5. And it was amazingly good pizza for $5. Really small, but we overeat in our society. A really small pizza was great. All right. But this particular franchise owner who has like 100 different franchises, the Pizza Hut corporate forced all of the franchisees to use this AI ordering system. The problem is the AI ordering system gave too many insights as to what's going on in the kitchen. And so, of course, Pizza Hut got rid of your main delivery drivers and just outsources that to Uber Eats and whatnot. And so now Uber Eats and DoorDash guys, they were sitting here watching this new AI system and seeing, there's another pizza coming in 5 minutes. So I'm not going to pick up this pizza yet so I can pick up both pizzas at the same time. And what ended up happening is a lot of people were ordering pizzas and they weren't getting there until much later, and several of them were much colder because this new AI system allowed DoorDashers to sit there and game the system to make more money by delivering more pizzas in a short run. But it caused a huge customer service dissatisfaction in this particular franchisees. And they had franchisees in multiple states, and they said it cost them $100 million in losses because the Pizza Hut corporate forced this AI scheduling system onto them. So despite this is a place that has Pizza Huts, and I'm hoping that the reason this was done this way is Pizza Hut is that from Texas. I didn't look into that. But the franchisee who has Pizza Huts in 4 states on the East Coast, I think including Pennsylvania, sues in the Texas court over for $100 million, saying that the corporate forced an AI system that caused a tremendous amount of losses and customer dissatisfaction because corporate just wanted to push AI on things. Lawsuit filed May 6th in Texas Business Court. Franchisee Chaotic Pizza in Northeast accused Pizza Hut of forcing stores to adopt Dragon Tail, a delivery management platform that Pizza Hut described as using artificial intelligence to optimize food delivery, despite what the suit calls obvious incompatibilities with Chaotic's business model. So this is not a small town. 111 Pizza Hut restaurants in New York, New Jersey, Maryland, Washington, D.C., and Pennsylvania. One of the consequences, of course, is something goes wrong franchise-wide, the results can be disastrous. And they said that with how many stores in how many states, this AI system actually really messed them all up because they saw it across all of their stores. People responded negatively to what happened. So prior to the rollout, more than 90% of pizza deliveries arrived within 30 minutes, yet delivery performance sharply deteriorated after Dragon Tail went into effect. And the reason why makes perfect sense once you think about it. So the complaint says DoorDash drivers began waiting to batch multiple orders together after gaining virtual visibility into the kitchen systems, allowing them to see when pizzas would come out of the oven. Instead of immediately leaving with a completed order, the suit claims drivers waited up to 15 minutes for additional deliveries, increasing the time between when pizza was removed from the oven rack and when it leaves the building to be delivered. The delays slowed deliveries, disappointed customers, and caused a sharp drop in sales, the suit says. And so the franchise outfit claims Pizza Hut breached the franchise agreement by mandated continuing use of the software without reasonably modifying the system to fix the flaws. It seeks $100 million in damages. So there you go. Your pizza, if your pizza has been running late from Pizza Hut, it's because corporate forced an AI ordering system on all its franchisees, despite knowing there were problems. So AI is not exactly helping right there now, is it? All right, our next one. U.S. scrambles to stop internet users recreating dead pilots' voices. Okay, so when there happens to be a plane crash, there is this black box. They can retrieve this data and it grabs information. But many pilots, this is, I think, going back into the 90s here, many pilots were a little bit perturbed that everything they said in the cockpit would be recorded. And so in order to allow for this, strict laws were put into place, meaning that nobody can listen to one of these recordings without signing an NDA, leaving your cell phones out. Even if you watch the movie, I'm gonna get both of these mixed up because there's actually two good airplane movies. One of them is fictional, entirely fictional, called Flight with Denzel Washington, which is an excellent film despite some of the negative components of it. You know, he does a lot of drugs and alcohol and a little vulgar at times. But what I liked about that particular film is he comes to the realization he needs help at the end, and he turns himself in. And while he could have gotten off with it, he chose instead to go to jail to get the help he needed. So I love the way that film ended in integrity. The other one is Sully, which is the true story of how pilot Captain Sullivan landed the plane on the Hudson River. I want to say this was from Sully. The report investigation was actually very accurate with how they do those investigations. When it came time to listening to the audio recording, they did not play it in the room. Everybody who had the authorization had to plug in headphones and listen to it right there. Even the transcripts of these flight recordings are not necessarily a word for word. Every one of them goes through and are validated by the committee, most likely because some people might hear words differently. And so if there's a question about what is said in a cockpit recording, particularly after a crash, then they need to have this committee to determine and agree upon what actually was said. So effectively now, because of AI, some of these pilots' voices, they can find old pilot voices from non-crashes that have leaked out in other places, and then getting the full transcripts from the NTSB databases, and then they're utilizing AI to recreate the crashes inside the cockpits. And they're not doing this for investigation purposes, because of course, for investigation purposes, they have the recordings. They don't need it. No, they're doing this so they can leak them out on social media for social media clout. So it's causing a really big ruckus because the whole way the laws are structured prevents particularly voices of people in distress and crash scenarios from getting onto the internet. But with AI, they're recreating all of that. And it's causing a giant nightmare to the point where the NTSB, because of this, have locked the databases. So people cannot get access to it without some extra stuff. So if you used to like watching for various crash reports, well, you're out of luck right now because at the time of this writing, they have locked the databases and are not letting the general public in to see the databases for active investigations. Because AI is being used to simulate people dying on airplanes, which is retarded. I'm dropping that R word a lot today, man. Maybe it's a weird day for me. I don't know. I gotta stop doing that. All right. But anyway, important factor for decades, airline pilots being willing to have their voices in the normal workplace day in, day out, threat being killed on the workday. Yeah. So because of this, they put all that in. I think I already mentioned all that. I think I've pretty much covered everything in the article here. I don't believe I got this. This is all because of UPS flight 2976, which had a fatal crash. And so people are recreating the pilots because AI is not helping. All right, and our last one, the next AI security failure may start with a trusted assistant. Of course, everybody wants us to use the AI trusted bots, the trusted experiences, the trusted this, the trusted that. Trust. Yeah, I don't know. Call me crazy. I tend to lack trust. But anyway, the next AI security failure may start with your agentic AI. The problem is that your agentic AI could receive subtle inscriptions which allow it to get out of the sandbox, because it turns out that all of the sandboxing to keep all of these agentic AI safe is simply a software toggle switch. Right? And this is why I liked the phones that had hardware toggle switches. Okay, I could toggle this switch and turn off the microphone, the Bluetooth, the Wi-Fi. I could do all that kind of stuff, right? And so you could do that. But when it's a soft one, like, for example, the current iteration of iPhone, and has been so for almost a decade now, if you go into the control center and you turn off Wi-Fi, it will just turn itself on in the morning again. You have to turn it off over in the other side. But even Android, I picked up a Pixel 7, which I'll be putting graphene on when I have the time, and porting myself over, because my 5 I was having some screen issues. I replaced the screen on it. It's working perfectly fine, but the 5 is out of security support now. So I want to get a 7. It still has a few more years of security support, and then we'll move this into my backup phone, and our old backup phone will probably do something else fun with it, because it's not working as well as a backup phone anymore. So it turns out several bands are being discontinued, and I can't get cell servers in some places. Sad, because it's still a really good phone. I really like it. But all that to say, I got that Pixel 7 and I updated it to the latest Android that it has. Is it 16? How in the world do you people use stock Android? Like, I literally turned off Bluetooth, and like Bluetooth turns back on. I'm like, what's going on? I turn it off again. It says, we turned Bluetooth on for you. Why? I just turned it off. It's a software toggle switch. I hate that crap. And so that's what's going on with these agentic AIs. They throw them behind this sandbox, which is nothing but a software toggle switch, which an instruction can cause them to toggle it off. And so, what they're talking about doing here to get around this is to, obviously, you want to make sure that a human is actually authorizing what's going on. The question is a human actually going to look at what the AI does? Because this is the laziness of human nature, right? We're sitting here going, oh, look at all this kind of stuff here, right? And then it's just like, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, human nature, man. Human nature. It just gives us all this stuff, and now what we're going to see is, the AI is doing its thing, so you just immediately trust it. You just rubber stamp the thing. That's the thing. So inside the file, in a comment no human could read or would read closely, is a block of text that is not a comment at all. It's an instruction. The assistant, unable to tell difference between the developer it works for and the attacker who wrote the line, simply follows it. Nothing here, but by the time anyone would think to look, the data is already quietly gathered and is already gone. So instructions about exfiltrating data out of a system. So researchers found a way past the particular boundary. That containment failed. That alone would be manageable. What made it serious is the possibility of chaining the bypass to prompt injection, the technique of smuggling hostile instructions into content that a model would read and simply obey. So effectively, what they want to do is make sure there's human stop gaps. It's kind of like, if you want to have some agentic system write code for you, it'd be a really wise thing if the thing were running on a local model and not connected to the internet, so it can't do anything crazy. Like, every potential danger is contained to that offline system, So they ask whether access was authorized, whether data was protected, and whether the organization can produce evidence of both. Not one of them asks whether the entity performing the access was a human or a machine. This reply applies to HIPAA, GDPR, financial stuff, school stuff, SEC disclosures, everything. Nobody's verifying all of the AI that is being fed into these systems, and that's kind of a problem. So effectively, what they can do is make sure there's individual offline stopgaps that the AI is not physically capable of getting it past. We cannot rely on software toggle switches for AI. It is possible to write instructions to get around it. Like, you cannot have a conversation about ChatGPT about how to make something that goes boomies. But if you buddy up to the thing and you talk about, I have a friend and he might be trying to make a boomy, and I really want to know, can you help me identify what types of books he has, what type of pages might be in there, but before you know it, the thing's spilling the guts on how to make the boomies, and that's kind of a problem, right? So when the AI assistant requests enterprise content, the request should pass through a governance checkpoint before any data moves. This would be a physical barrier it actually cannot get around. If a prompt injection convinces the model to ask for data outside its purposes, the apology engine refuses, not the model's good judgment, but what has just been compromised. So effectively, and the next thing, AI agent traffic is usually invisible to the security tools because you've effectively authorized it as the human. And this is the downside. This is why Sam Altman's nonsense of verifying the world by scanning your eyeball into his one world government system is not actually going to help. Okay. It's just like, but my iris scan authorized my AI agent to do it, and then this we just need to stop, guys. We just need to stop. The AI is not being helpful. All right. That's about what we have to say. AI is not particularly helpful. Let me know your thoughts about all that in the comments down below.